here. I was going to do a quick, or try to be quick, labor and delivery story. It's probably going to get way long, so I'll try to be quick about it. But here's my baby. Here's the baby girl. If you haven't seen my last video I just posted a couple days ago, she's here. And she has milk all over her face, so I need to wipe that off. Anyway, yeah, I went in on Monday, let's see what day that was, 10th, for my weekly non-stress test and all that stuff. And I was contracting very regularly, but still was not dilated in any. Well, he said I was like a fingertip or whatever that meant. So I was fingertip dilated and about 60% phased. And he said that my blood pressure at that point was like I think it was like 150 or 160 over 98 or something like that. So it was pretty high again. So at that point he said, because we had planned on going in and getting induced at the end of the week, but my doctor said due to my high blood pressure that he wanted to go ahead and do it ASAP. Oh, because he went ahead and did an ultrasound too, and he saw that my placenta had started calcifying, and my fluid level had dropped by half. I got an ultrasound the Thursday before that, and my fluid level was a 22, and on Monday, 4 days later, my fluid level was down to 11. So it's still within normal limits. He said anything above 5 would be good, but just the fact that it had dropped so significantly in 4 days, he was kind of getting scared about it. So with all that said, he decided to go ahead and induce me. I went in on Tuesday night, the next day, and started the induction. We started the Cervidil at about 7 p.m. or probably about 8 o'clock. And then the next morning I contracted all night long, like strong contractions, very strong contractions, painful. Yeah, so the next morning she came in and checked me, which would be Wednesday morning, and I had not dilated at all. Nothing had changed at all. So my doctor said, let's start her on Pitocin. Maybe the Pitocin will kickstart her into dilating. So they started me on Pitocin, and they go like every... Oh no, is someone getting angry? Oh no, she's okay. So, you know, with Pitocin they increase it every 15 minutes, and I think they go increase by 2. So they start at 2, and they go to 4, 6, 8, etc. Or at least that's how it's done at my hospital. That's how they explained it to me. Oh no, someone's getting upset, I think. Okay? Anyway, so at 7 a.m. they started me on Pitocin. They started it at 2. And then 15 minutes later they came in and increased it to 4. And then like 2 minutes later a nurse comes running in and told me to lay on my left side immediately, and they stopped the Pitocin immediately. Apparently the Pitocin baby, oh goodness, apparently the baby girl's heart rate started decelerating pretty badly with the Pitocin. So we had to stop that. I only made it to 4. So I never really got to experience Pitocin at all. So from then they decided to go ahead and try Cytotec, which I forget what that was. Can't remember if it was like a pill that I took or if it went internally. I can't remember. Those days were like blurs. So they started the Cytotec, and they came in and checked me a few hours later, and no, there was no change in my cervix. And they came in and they started another Cytotec, and then several hours later they came in and checked me again, and there was still no change. So my body just totally, absolutely rejected everything. And then, like, I was still contracting regularly myself. Like, my body itself was still in labor, but my cervix wasn't changing at all. So at this point, my contractions were getting stronger themselves, but they weren't doing anything to my cervix. So, but at this point, baby girl's heart rate didn't even tolerate my own contractions. Like, I was not on medicine, I was not on anything at all. I was just laying in bed contracting my normal contractions, and her heart rate kept on dropping with every contraction. So from then on I had to lay on my left side. And yeah, so that was Wednesday night. Wednesday night my doctor came in and saw me and talked about our options, and he said that we can try Cervidil again all night Wednesday night and try to do a natural birth Thursday. Basically just repeat the whole process that we did. And I was like, okay, sure, let's try that. So they tried that, and then, oh no. And then like 2 minutes later, again, the nurse came running in and said, nope, can't do that. Lay on your left side. Her heart rate's not tolerating it. So at that point, at Wednesday night, probably like 5 or 6 p.m. No, it was later than that. Probably like 8 p.m. It was decided that the only way that baby girl could come was C-section, because she wasn't tolerating anything. I was getting scared at how urgent and I don't know. You know, you can read people's faces, and the nurses would come running in, and they looked really concerned. So that was really concerning to me, because I was so worried about my baby girl. So, but at that point I was exhausted. I had been contracting, I was in pain, no pain medicine, I couldn't get an epidural. Yeah, and I had just been exhausted, I didn't sleep any, and it was just rough. So, coming to terms, like I know I have said all along that I did not want a C-section. At that point I welcomed it, because I was just so exhausted, and I was so frustrated and mad at myself. Mad at my body, because nothing was changing. Like, it wasn't doing anything at all, like nothing it was supposed to do. So it was, whenever we came to that decision to have a C-section, it just felt right, and it was just like, okay, this is how it's gonna be, and it's just, I'm cool with it, as long as she's healthy. That was Wednesday night. I got some sleep. I asked the nurses for some pain medicine and for a sleeping pill, and I actually got a few hours of sleep, as good as rest as you can get in a hospital. And then Thursday morning I was supposed to get my C-section was scheduled for 11 a.m. My C-section was scheduled for 11, and so I couldn't eat after midnight, obviously, and all that fun stuff. Oh no, look at this little girl's face. She's mad at mommy for something. I don't know what. What is it? Oh no, she's probably getting hungry. C-section was scheduled for 11 a.m. on Thursday morning. At about 8:30 or 9, a nurse comes in and gives me a catheter. And let me tell you what, that catheter, it was the most painful thing about the whole entire thing. About my whole entire hospital stay, surgery, everything, it all combined. That catheter, I don't know what she did to me, but it was the most freaking awful pain. It was horrible. Horrible, horrible. It just really, really irritated me and pissed me off, honestly. Because, I mean, I'm going to be a nurse, and I know that usually what they try to do is they'll take you back to surgery, and once you're already doped up on anesthesia or whatever they're going to do to you, then they put the catheter in. They don't come in an hour and a half, 2 hours before your surgery and do it and let you lay there in pain. Because, like, what was happening was I was laying there, and with every, like, as soon as I felt like I was getting comfortable with it, I would have a contraction. And that would, like, move it or something, and it would hurt again all over. So every minute or two, I'm sitting there like, ugh. So, I mean, the contractions were nothing compared to the pain that this freaking catheter was giving me. So anyway, so they finally took me back at about 10:30. They were a little early. They rolled me back, and they took my husband back, and they did a spinal block on me, and it worked perfectly, and I could just feel my body from, you know, I don't remember where, but I could just feel my body just going away. Couldn't feel it at all. And yeah, they laid me down and got to work, and then my husband came in, and he got pictures. He got really cool pictures of her, like, coming out of me. I mean, I was really surprised that the doctors let him take such graphic pictures. But, I mean, yeah, they got pictures of them pulling her out of me and all this stuff. So, they cut me open, and she was born a few minutes later, and they took her over to the little area, whatever it's called, little incubator warmer area, and the NICU doctor was there working on her, and like, I'm laying there and I'm waiting because I saw them take her over, and I'm like, okay, why isn't she crying? Why isn't she crying? Why isn't she crying? She just didn't cry for the longest time, and I'm like freaking out, and I kept on asking everybody, why isn't she crying? And finally she starts crying, and because I look over and I saw them like with the mask on her, like working on her, and I was legitimately freaked out. I mean, I'm drugged up, laying there in drugs, but I still know my baby is supposed to be crying right now. And finally she came to life, started crying, and he came over after everything was said and done. Well, after he was done, and he said that her APGAR scores, I don't know if y'all know anything about APGAR scores for babies, but they're done at 1 minute and then at 5 minutes of life. And they score the baby on 1 to 10 of things like heart rate, respiratory rate, color of their skin, their muscle tone, that kind of stuff. And her 1 minute APGAR score was just a 1, which is awful. Like, that's scary. But then her 5 minute APGAR score was an 8. So I was hoping it would be like at least closer to 9, but I mean, I guess 8 was good because she's healthy and everything now. So then they took her back to the nursery, and my husband went with her, and I laid there and just in disbelief that like she was here, and I had just given birth, and you know, just waiting for him to be done with me. Apparently he took another about like an hour to work on me, but I was just so out of it that the time just flew by. I don't remember it going by so fast. Like, it was just crazy how fast an hour of my life went by that I had no idea. So they finally rolled me to recovery, and or is that what it's called? The recovery room? I don't know. And with a couple nurses, and my baby was there, and we got to do skin to skin, and she started breastfeeding immediately, and she did great with that. And I'm just sitting there like, just tears are just streaming down my face, and I'm gonna cry right now. But it was just like such a surreal moment that my baby was here and healthy, and we're both doing great, and you know, we made it. So we were in recovery for I don't know how long. They let my husband come back in the room with me. I guess they're not supposed to let them do that, but his aunt works at the hospital, so she kind of pulled some strings and let him come back in the room with me, which I really appreciated, because it was nice to have him there with us. And then they rolled me back to, they rolled me back to my actual room, and my family was there waiting for us, my mom and my aunt and my dad, and yeah, it was just a surreal moment, and I have lots of awesome pictures. I mean, if you've watched my last video, you've seen a couple pictures of me and my mom and the baby, and I just love those pictures. They're just so sweet and just beautiful. So yeah, that's basically my labor and delivery story. Not really much to tell. The induction basically did nothing, so we ended up with a C-section, but everything's healthy, and she's healthy and everything's perfect. So I'll do another I have another couple videos that I want to do, like her 2-week update, because she'll be 2 weeks old in 2 days, and then I want to do a 2-week postpartum C-section kind of update. But yeah, so if y'all have any more videos or anything else that you'd like me to do, let me know in the comments below. And thank you guys so much for all your sweet congratulations, and people have left me messages on Facebook, on Instagram and Twitter, and on my YouTube videos and stuff. So thank you guys so much. We really appreciate it. We're very, very happy and blessed, and just so thankful that our baby girl is here. So thanks so much for watching, guys.